welcome to Metallidium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you, Mikko. We're talking about for Kaunis Kuolematon, this new album
Yeah.
Kun Valo Misuna Kuoli, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we started by asking, so how are you doing today, and how is the band during the last couple years? Because your previous album was released in 2023.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today? And is the band doing?
Ah, that already was the question.
Mhm.
Oh, today I'm feeling kind of okay. Thinking in general, thinking about that the album is now out and the
Mhm.
feedback has been really, um, if I could say, really surprising, in
Mhm.
my opinion. And I really didn't expect anything like these Finnish charts in physicals #1 and in official chart it was position 28 in Finland. So I think that was pretty good. And what comes to these few latest years, we've been uh, kind of managed to grow our fan base a little bit, and it has been really nice to see like in our shows that people are really coming there and listening to the good music and buying merch and that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Okay. So this new album is your fifth album in your career. So
Yeah.
was released recently via Noble Demon. So
Yeah.
how would you like describe the emotional journey of this album compared it to its predecessor, so Million Balta, 2023, which some fell into a more contemplative sound.
Uh, I don't know. When we are starting this process, like recording a new album, we are not planning anything. About what comes to the songs, I think that we have three members in this band, which one is writing songs. So the songs, I think all these albums has been really colorful, but they are not just only like a bunch of songs. There are a lot of different kind of songs with different elements and so on. And it's been the same like these previous ones too. And I think this new is, for me, it sounds pretty heavy comparing to the last ones.
Okay.
Of course, there was in this Mieleval that there was this sorrowful melodies and really depressive modes in the songs, and but you can also find those elements also in this new one.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, so the first single from the album, Merta, deals with themes of emotional disconnection and inner turmoil. So, can you discuss the specific lyrical inspiration for this track and how the music was crafted to mirror those feelings?
Okay, so the music is written by Ville, our second guitarist,
Mhm.
and I wrote the lyrics and also make the arrangement for the vocals. And for me, this Merta, it represents like what we are, what this is all about with this Kaunis Kuolematon, because there are so many elements. s- uh, like that beginning, it's something that I don't know. We have done anything like that never before. It bring brings me like the view from the 80s and with this only these keys on a background with clean vocals, and suddenly it's turning really crushing
Okay.
crushing So there are a lot of different kind of melodies, but I think that's kind of a song from that album that you can really hear from that song what Kaunis Kuolematon is really about. And about what comes to the lyrics, it is kind of a mind trap. Like nowadays, it's pretty easy that when you are living your normal life, it's pretty easy that in some point you can find yourself like living in some kind of a circle, and everything is repeating around it all the time, you know?
Okay.
And the song tells that how difficult is it to come out from that shell that you have created.
Okay. So you have three active composers in the band: you,
Yeah,
Oli, and Ville. So, which you
yeah.
mentioned makes are your album very rich in a lot of ways. So, how does this collaborate songwriting process work when bringing different members' initial ideas together into a cohesive Kaunis Kuolematon track?
We are not like composing songs like together. We write them separately. Like Ville is doing his own, and I'm writing my own, and Olli is doing his. And when we are showing these so-called demos, when we are showing them to the rest of the band, those are almost like and with all the melodies and the keys. So when I'm writing song, it's almost arranged in the way that I would like to have that song in the album. So we are not writing anything like together. And we have many times we have talked about it that when we have or now when we have these three members who write the songs, the album it's really colorful because we think that when we have three members that write songs, so we think that that's our strength to like create these albums that are so colorful with many different elements. And I think that it really doesn't matter who's writing those because when every member in this band put their own effort to the songs, they're sounding Kaunis Kuolematon, no matter who has written the song.
Okay. So this new album is described as your most immersed and emotionally charged work to date. So were there any new recording techniques or instrumental used in the studio with Saku Molainen that help achieve this profound sense of atmosphere?
Not exactly. Everything comes in the points when you are composing the song. Like for me, when I'm writing lyrics or anything, I never think about the theme or the topic what I'm writing before the song, before the song has written, because I need to hear all the melodies and everything, and the song is finding its path like itself during the process. We
Okay.
don't think like we don't like to think too much like before that what we should write about. everything is growing and like during the process.
Okay. So now talking about more about the promotion of this new album. So what kind of promotion do you have for this album? Perhaps you will embark some tours, or perhaps you are recording a new album. You are at this moment. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have for Kaunis Kuolematon and this new album?
Do you mean that what kind of promotion we have used in
Correct.
this album?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Label has put its own power to the marketing,
Mm-hmm.
but like in Finland, well, in general, it's pretty easy nowadays because you can put a lot of, not a lot of, but you can put the power like in the social media. And in our case, that has it's been doing pretty well. Of course, you need make some like paid advertising, but the social media in our case, that's been the strongest channel to promoting this band. Of course, in Finland, we have also used people outside of the band who's been promoting this like different websites in Finland. But the main promoting to this album has been here in Finland and mostly in social medias. But I think that we have that kind of a fan base at the moment that we have managed to grow the fan base that much that the social media is almost everything that we really need here to have shows and sell albums and the merch.
Hmm. Okay. Now talking about other things related, especially for the musical style and philosophy from the band. So your music is consistently categorized as melodic death doom metal. So a blend of
Mm.
melancholic beauty and raw aggression. So what do you consider the core components that define the Kaunis Kulematonen sound with this subgenre?
Well, I have always said that I have never like I never want to put like our music in any category
Mhm.
because it's really difficult to like when I'm in this band, it's really hard for me to say that what kind of music it is
Okay.
because of course in my year I some people are comparing us to the like Swallow the Sun,
Mhm.
but I don't see the Swallow the Sun in our music. So for me, it's really hard to say that what kind of a genre I should put our music because somehow I just feel that at least in Finland there are not many bands
Mhm.
that sounds like we are. And of course, we think that we are kind of unique in our own way because we are also performing in Finnish.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's really hard to say that where I should where I should put our music, but
Mhm. Hmm. Okay. So the band name Kaunis Kuolematon translates to beautiful, immortal. So
mm,
could you elaborate on how this duality of beauty, especially from the life experiences, and immortality with music legacy, so continues to influence your work, particularly on your newest album, Kun Valo Minusa Kuoli?
so do you mean that how this band's name
Mhm.
follows to this new album?
Correct.
I don't know. I think this band name it's representing like the whole band and our career our career in itself. Because I have said many times that people has been asking what Kaunis Kuolematon means. I have always said that Kaunis Kuolematon means much more than only those two words. Because and where the name is coming from, it's like our music contains a lot of beautiful melodies. Even the themes and the topics are not that happy. So we are talking about like this sadness and yearning and loneliness and losing someone that you really care about. But still, in our music, there is something beautiful. No matter if the music is that kind of heavy. And also music, our music and music in general, that's immortal. So those two words only describes our band in a way that we are playing beautiful melodies and kind of immortal music.
Okay. So nowadays it's rarity for a band to maintain its original lineup for over a decade. So what is this dynamic like with the band, and how has this consistency shaped your creative process and overall journey?
When we started 2012,
Mhm.
uh, like me, I already had this Cinnamore band called Cinnamore with Jarno and Mikko, and I also played with Black Sun Eon, and there are also other members. They were also playing in their previous bands. So when we started this band in 2012, the band or acting in a band that wasn't really new for us anymore because we all did that also in the past already. So when we started this band, there was we were talking like we really didn't know where we are aiming with this. We really didn't know what kind of music we're gonna play. We just made that kind of a deal that whatever comes ahead and where we are heading at. So if you don't want to be in this band and somehow that feels wrong, nobody doesn't have to be here like forced. Everything is in their own will, and we also made that kind of a promise that whatever we do, we're gonna make that in a way that there is really our heart in it. Not we don't do anything because we have to. We just do everything that comes from natural way, and no one's forced in our case. So I think, and we are also very good friends together. So I think that's the pretty huge like advantage for us that we are friends and we are getting along so we are getting along very well when we are together. So
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe that's the salt of our band.
Okay. So you choose to write all your lyrics in your native Finnish language, which
Yeah.
you've been noted all allows to go much deeper into meanings. So do you feel this approach makes your music more authentic And has it ever been a barrier to international audience or a unique selling point?
Um, when we started to compose the songs, I think, if I remember right, there was 5 or 6 songs that I wrote in English. But I still have this kind of a feeling that something is missing. I had this feeling that there is something more inside me that I really can't express, and I want them to get out. And in some points, I just started thinking about like, what if we could write and perform our songs in Finnish? And that wasn't really, that was kind of a rare thing. That wasn't that public, or like so many bands they didn't do that in the past when we started this band. And somehow it just felt that it came so natural that I really didn't need to think about like every line, is this correct, or can I write this in this way? Because everything was written my native, so it was much easier for me to get much more close to the points that I really mean. And I really thought that I'm much more near for the result with Finnish language than English. And that just came like itself. And we have never thought that would be kind of a burden for the listeners that's not from Finland. Because many have been said that, well, now I have a reason to start to learn Finnish. And like nowadays, there are so many ways to translate the songs. So I don't see that as a problem. But I also think that we are not never going to make any song in English, because then that would break that, you know, that shell around us that we have now with this Finnish language. We want to save that unique thing in this band.
Okay. So, we are very close to this interview, Mikko. So many of your music videos, such as En Ole Minitan, so future realistic, almost documentary styles narratives in your videos. So why do you prefer this grounded visual approach over a more abstract or fantastical imaginary often see in metal videos?
I don't know, maybe it's somehow that we really want that everything is kind of a basic thing. That everything that you are saying in the lyrics, I would like to have them in a way that you should say the things that they are. Also in those videos, it's much more easier for the listeners to step into the songs if there is something that's really grounded and a base about your general life. So I don't see that we need any tricks or anything to get. I think we can approach and have a much more deeper contact to the listeners when everything is not that, you know, fancy and big. And when we are close to normal, it's also easier for the listener to get into the songs. That's why we like to like keep them pretty simple.
Okay. So, and one of the last questions for this interview, it is that the music industry has changed significantly since your formation in 2012. As a band that started independently and later signed with an international label like Noble Demon. So, what's your perspective on the best ways for fans to support bands in the modern era? Streaming, merchandise, live shows, and etc. etc.
Yeah, those are the best ways. Like we are in that kind of a good situation now that we have in Finland, we have show management. We don't have to arrange our shows anymore by ourselves. So there are some other people that making our tours and booking us on a tour. Also, we have this kind of huge web store who's selling merch, Backstake Rock Shop in Finland. And of course, this label and everything they has helped us a lot in this journey. But of course, that if you really want to support a band that you are really into, is that you are buying the merch and listening the songs and go on shows. Like we have many. There are like 5 or 7 times in a year. I've always wondered that, but they said that there is something really deep in our music that they just want to come and they just want to see though. So if you are living in abroad, so that won't stop you in these days. So buy the merch and listen to music and go to the shows.
Okay, okay.
So
Well,
buy this.
great, great. I understand. So, well, Mikko, we'll arrive to the sad moment of this interview. Thank you very much for your time. This new album is a
Yeah.
great one. Congratulations on this new one. And perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallica followers?
Just give this a chance, this new album. And we have in that point that there are a lot of our music. All the catalog is in Spotify and you can find it in YouTube and everywhere. So give Kaunis Kuolematon a chance. Maybe we see you someday. So just keep your horns up and keep listening.